inquiry. Is that correct?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Yes. Thanks. Chair and co-commissioners, the statement is being tendered into evidence.
Thank you, Mr. Mutau.
Yes. General, then in paragraph 3 of your statement, you deal with the structure of your statement. And you will see, if you look at the subparagraphs 3.1 to 3.12, there are 12 parts to your statement. Is that correct?
I confirm that, Commissioner.
And if you then go back to paragraph 3, the statement, or rather the paragraph should read, this statement consists of 12 and not 10 parts. Correct?
That's correct, Commissioner.
Thank you. And then if you go to paragraph 4, commencing from paragraph 4 to paragraph 22, you deal with the nomenclatures.
Just before you respond, General, my co-commissioner is asking you to please speak up. He says he can barely hear you. Please, please.
No, I will do so, Commissioner. Try
Thank
and
you.
increase the volume.
Thank you.
Thank you. Perhaps if I can just repeat that, to say from paragraphs 4 to 22 of your statement, you deal with the nomenclatures that are used in the statement. Am I correct?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Thank you. And commencing from paragraph 23 to 27, you provide your reasons for participating or testifying in this commission.
That is correct, Commissioner.
If I may just ask
Just before that, even though you've given us the nomenclatures here, I will still request you, when you refer to these in the body of your testimony, to still describe each one of those, because by the time you get there, I will have forgotten what those were. I don't know about my co-commissioners. Thank you. Please continue, Mr. Mutau.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I was trying to take shortcuts for myself, but it has not worked. General, then to come back to paragraphs 23 to 27 of your statement, where you outline your reasons for participating in the commission and testifying, if I may just ask you to deal with those paragraphs.
Thanks, Commissioner. My participation in the commission, starting from paragraph 23, my role as the National Commissioner of SAPS is both complex and pivotal in ensuring the effectiveness, integrity, and public confidence in the national policing system. When a commission of inquiry such as the Madlanga Commission is convened to investigate matters of national importance, it involves allegations of misconduct, failures in the organizational oversight, or systemic challenges within SAPS. There is no doubt that I must participate actively. Such inquiry provides a unique and crucial opportunity not only to respond to allegations, but also to reflect honestly on the existing challenges and advocate for meaningful reform. By engaging openly and constructively, I demonstrate willingness to subject SAPS to rigorous scrutiny and to embrace recommendations that may emerge from this commission. This approach fosters a culture of accountability, encourage collaboration and oversight with oversight bodies, and signals to all stakeholders that SAPS leadership is both responsive and responsible. The importance of my participation cannot be overstated. My participation upholds the best traditions of accountable and transparent policing, aligns with legal requirements, and advances both the internal development of SAPS and the broader democratic project in South Africa. It assures the public, government, and international observers that the highest level of SAPS leadership is committed to truth, justice, and continuous improvement. Paragraph 26, the benefits of participating in the Commission is not to provide my account of interactions with Minister Mkhunu on the issues forming part of this subject matter for determination herein only, but also hope that the Commission's findings and recommendations will lead to improved governance, public trust, and institutional effectiveness, which are not only critical to SAPS, but are foundational to the well-being and safety of South African society as a whole.
General, if I can just stop you there. The essence of the point in paragraph 26 is to convey the point that the benefits of you participating in the Commission is not only to provide your account of the interactions with the Minister Mkhunu, but you're saying the benefits go beyond that, because you are hoping that the findings that the Commission will make, together with the recommendations, will lead to improved governance within the organization. Is that correct?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Yes. And then you proceed in paragraph 27, you deal with one of the important aspects which you envisage that this Commission will do, and you say the Commission, you hope, will assist in making a proper diagnosis of the circumstances that have brought us here. And you talk about also the hope that the recommendations that the Commission will make, if accepted by the President, will avoid a repeat of what you term as rather the unfortunate events that have led to the establishment of the Commission. Is that correct?
That is correct, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you. If I can then ask you to deal with the next topic that you address in your statement, commencing from paragraph 28 to 31, and there you outline your background and your service history within the South African Police Services. If I can just ask you to take the Chair and the Commissioners through that portion of your statement.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. My background history, I joined South African Police Service in 1987, and I worked in various provinces through the ranks. I worked in Free State, I worked in Gauteng, I worked in KwaZulu-Natal, Gauteng again, various provinces, Western Cape, deployed there, and then I worked also in Limpopo. Throughout my career, I acquired broad managerial experience within the service. I attended a number of courses within the South African Police Service, both at junior ranks and at senior ranks. I have 38 years of service in the SAPS, and of which 25 years of that was at senior management level. I held up positions of unit commander. I held positions of Deputy Provincial Commissioner in KwaZulu-Natal. I was Divisional Commissioner of Protection and Security Service. And then I acted as Divisional Commissioner of Crime Intelligence. And then I became the Deputy National Commissioner for Operations. And thereafter I went to Limpopo as the Provincial Commissioner. And in 2016, I came back as a Deputy National Commissioner again, up to 2022. And since 2022 March, up to now, I've been appointed as the National Commissioner of South African Police Service.
And you conclude in paragraph 31 that your trajectory reflects a broad spectrum of policing expertise, from grassroots operational leadership to strategic oversight at the national level. Correct?
That's correct, Commissioner.
You have attached a full copy of your CV, which we don't need to go to, but for the benefit of the chair and the co-commissioners, it is on pages 63 to 72 of file 2. Thank you. Then, General.
Marked SFM1.
SF1. Thank you. Yes, SFM1. Yeah. And General, the next topic that you deal with is SEPS and the criminal justice system, commencing from paragraph 32. And in those paragraphs, from 32 and 33, you refer to the 3 pillars that guides the South African criminal justice system. If I can request you to deal with those 3 pillars, which you deem to be foundational.
Thanks, Commissioners. The pillars are the South African criminal justice system is guided by a clear division of 3 pillars. The first one being the police, the second one being the prosecution authority, the third being the correctional services. The first pillar of the police serves as the front line of law enforcement, which involves the crime prevention, crime investigation, gathering of evidence, apprehension of suspects, with a view to secure evidence for the courts, and ultimately bring that to the next pillar, which is the second pillar, which is the National Prosecuting Authority, which is responsible for deciding whether there is sufficient evidence exists to prosecute or not to prosecute in that specific matter. And within this, we have got then the judiciary, and which is the magistrates and the judges, which NPA and the subs or the state will put the case forward, and the magistrates and our judges will then conduct a fair and impartial trial to determine the guilt or the innocence of the accused person. The third pillar is the correctional services that takes over once the court has delivered its verdict. This sector is charged with enforcing and administrating sentences imposed by the courts. Their work involves incarceration of offenders and also the management of alternative community-based sentences, rehabilitation programs, and of course, reintegration back to the society. Taken together, these 3 pillars work in concert to uphold the rule of law, protect communities, ensure justice is served, and foster public trust in the criminal justice system.
So in essence, the 3 pillars are interdependent.
Correct, they are interdependent to each other. Also, hence, it's important for each one to remain independent from the other, and no encroachment between one against the other.
Thanks. And then, General, the next topic that you deal with is the police in closer detail, and that you outline from paragraph 34 to 42 of your statement. If I can just ask you to take the commission through that section.
The police in a closer look, the establishment of a single police service is provided for in Chapter 11 of the Constitution, Section 199(1) states that the security services of the Republic consist of a single police force, a single defense force, a single police service, and any intelligence service established in terms of the Constitution.
And then you proceed over the page, you refer to sections 205, section 206, and section 207 of the Constitution, which you say they also deal with matters relating to the police service, insofar as they pertain to structural elements, political responsibility, and control over the service in its entirety. Correct?
That is correct. Section,
Yes, 205, which you then
Section-
deal with from paragraph 36, if you can proceed.
Section 205 of the Constitution is paramount importance to understand the context of the obligation placed on the national legislation to clarify matters relating to policing. 205(1) provides for the National Police Service must be structured to function in national, provincial, and where appropriate, the local sphere of government, giving effect to the implementation of a model that seeks to create a uniform system of policing. Section 205(2) of the Constitution provides that national legislation must establish the powers, functions of the police service and must enable the police to discharge its responsibilities effectively, taking into account the requirements of the provinces. Section 205(3) provides that the police service is to prevent, combat, and investigate crime, to maintain public order, to protect and secure the inhabitants of the Republic and their property, and to uphold and enforce the law. Section 206(7) provides for a legislative framework to regulate municipal police service to augment policing by stating that the national legislation must provide a framework for the establishment of powers, functions, and control of municipal police service. Furthermore, Section 207(2) of the Constitution states that the National Commissioner must exercise control and manage the police service in accordance with the national policing policy and the directions of the cabinet member responsible for policing. And my understanding of the cabinet member responsible for policing refers to the Minister of Police.
And if I can just stop you there, perhaps.
Before you
Yeah,
go
yes.
on, yes, thank you, Mr. Matao. General, I do know that later you do explain directions, for example, and you put in strategic, trying to tell us what exactly the directions envisaged in section 207(2) are. But can you, at this stage, just very broadly tell us what the distinction is between policy directions and operational or managerial matters? I'll tell you why I'm asking you. I'm asking you because further down in your affidavit, you start off by stating your main proposition, which is that the minister's instruction or disbandment instruction strayed onto operational or managerial matters. But then you have two alternatives, and you say, if, however, it is found that the instruction was policy, then, but the then being an argument against the minister's entitlement to have issued the instruction. And you have a further alternative. Alternatively, if it was a direction as envisaged in section 207(2), again you have an argument against the minister's entitlement to have issued it. Because of those possibilities, I want you to just tell us what exactly the differences are. What are the inner and outer contours of each one of these. It doesn't matter if you repeat those when you get to that part of the statement, but up front, I just want us to get an idea of what these are.
Thanks, Commissioner. My understanding is that the minister is responsible to issue a national policing policy. In other words, that is the direction in terms of what are the priorities that we need to do as the police. For example, there could be priorities about, let's say, gangsterism or cash in transit, that is troubling the country. That is a strategic direction that we need to deal with that. But the how part of it, how many resources are going to use, of course, I will inform the minister as to what resources are going to use. But the how part of it, it is, according to me, is an operational matter where I will decide how many resources in terms of personnel, vehicles, and how are we going to do this job. I don't expect the minister to say, get involved into the how part of it in terms of executing the functions. But I expect that he can identify the priority. Yes, he can talk to in terms of what he thinks. There's no problem even if he can say how he thinks the how part, but not that he get involved in to say, do it in the following manner. So in this case, my issue is, for example, in this case of the political killings task team, it is a task team that is working at a lower level under a provincial commissioner. If ever he found anything wrong with the task team, he could say, that task team, I think you need to disband it, and we can engage in the terms of the why and how and so on. But to go further to say disband, but then after saying disband, then you go further to say now, not even tomorrow. I think that is totally encroachment into the mandate of the National Commissioner in terms of performance of my duty. I don't know whether I answered.
From that response, I think I do get the how, which is an operational issue that falls under the purview of your functions. I do get that. But you seem to be lumping policy and directions together. So I'm still in the dark as to what the difference is between policy and directions. Can you now forget about the operational matters and just give us an idea of what the difference is between policy and directions as envisaged in Section 2072 of the Constitution?
Thanks, Commissioner. The policy will be like, we do have the Police Act. The minister is getting involved in development of that legislation, and there is a policy recently, national policing policy. There wasn't one. There is one that recently was issued that directs us in terms of what we need to prioritize. So it talks more on what is it that we must prioritize, because the Constitution in Section 2053 tells us what must we do, but there will further be priorities that are out there in terms of various provinces. Then the minister, yes, can issue policy to say, I need us to go in this way, issue legislation or issue extra policing policy like he did.
That's the policy as I understand you. And directions?
Directions, according to me, it is any directives you can issue to say in terms of what matters must we prioritize in terms of, like I gave an earlier example to say you prioritize cash in transit, for example. You can say, yeah, there is problem of cash in transit, or there is problem for, like, in his case, he said, we have problem of illegal mining in the country. Let's do something about it. That is a direction. And we go on to deal with our part.
When dealing with policy, you touched on something that was issued recently. I actually had a question here that asks whether the policy is contained in one document or in several documents. When you say there wasn't any before and that one has been issued recently, so that probably means there's only one document, or am I wrong?
Yeah, if one takes, my understanding policy will be what the minister will express, mostly together with the rest of South Africans, through legislation. And the national policy, yes, there was never one. There is one now issued.
Okay. Oh, thank you. If the minister